Here we go. We're on. Hello, Jasmine. It's been a long time. How are you in Recife? Wow.
Yeah, I'm happy. I'm grand. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah. Big day partying yesterday and the day before, or tomorrow, or something. What's happening with the carnival?
Yeah, a bit of a mixture. Carnival's awesome, loads going on, but it's you can't be like out all the time.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, just enjoying it, just sort of absorbing the culture.
that's cool. All right. Well, just going right back to Cape Town. Just give us your heads up of Cape Town to St Helena. Just a brief one. How you felt about that one?
That was a nice passage, I think. The first night was horrendous, like really, really rough, really wet. Lots of big waves, and then after that, it was fine. Um, I think relatively speedy. I think.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and then it was good getting to St Helena. Yeah, it was a nice passage. I think I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, that's cool. And I sent the team to ask everyone. I said, "Oh, what's your best memory of Saint Helena?" But I think you're probably going to. I know what you're going to probably say. I mean, you blew a lot of people away. I mean, you were doing all the normal things, and then all of a sudden, you sent us the message. You said, "I think I'm going to swim around the island." So, just give us a brief on that. Like we saw it all and knew what was going on, but how do you feel retrospectively now, looking back?
Um, yeah, it was awesome. I think it probably wasn't like the best idea, just in terms of like prep and everything. But that's just you. Yeah, yeah. Why not give something a go like that when you're there? Like whenever else are you gonna get the chance? Um, and yeah, the it was just something. I don't know, just a bit extraordinary to try and do. I think, and I miss swimming. So.
Yeah. It was pretty impressive. I mean, people would tell you all sorts of things, but I've got to tell you, you completely blew me away. You had a real, we were watching what was going on. I tried to imagine what was going on in your head as you go stroke, 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 and it's dark, it's nighttime, and you've got to keep something in your brain because everything's going else is like a robot using up your energy. But I'm just fascinated. What do you think about? Like what's going on in your head? When that's happening.
Well, to start with, in the dark, I'm thinking, oh my god, what am I doing? And then I think, okay, what was that? Something hit me. Ow, that hurt. Was that a fish? Was that squid? What was that? Okay, that was definitely a jellyfish thing. That really, really hurts. Okay, when's it going to get light? How far have I gone? Where's that cliff? Is that a boat? What's that light? Trying to picture the island from what I know from like navionics, and just trying to think, where am I? How far have I gone? Um, well, I'm a little bit hungry. Where's the boat? Where's the boat? Oh, okay, the boat's there. Um, do you reckon, how do I shout for them? How do I tell them to give me some chocolate? I'm hungry. Do I want some chocolate? I feel a bit sick. I'm so tired. Can I get out? Is it too early to get out? When's the sun going to come up? How long have we been swimming? How far have I gone? And then suddenly, like, it kind of gets light and it's a bit better. And then you're like, oh, I'm at the corner. Oh, okay, I know where I am now. And then you're like, oh, I'm almost there. Oh, this is going well. Okay, keep going, keep going. And then you suddenly like panic, thinking you see a shark, and then like it turns out it's just a triggerfish. And then you keep going, and then yeah, and then suddenly like hours pass by. But a lot of it, I think, was just panic.
Panic.
Yeah.
So, in other words, and I mean, this happens with adventures and adventurers where you say, "I'm going to do this," and then you public, and then you jump in and to whatever the activity is, and shit, I got to do it now. But I'm stunned. I still can't, even interested to hear what you're saying there because, I thought one of the bravest things you did was when you did that piece to camera and you had to stop. I mean, how do you get to the position when you know? I mean, because you had obviously driven yourself really hard, but it must have been just as hard knowing you're so close to the finish, and yet you said, "I've got to get out of here, or I'm in trouble." What drives? Where do you decide?
Well, the thing is for me, like in terms of swimming rules, like you are not allowed to touch the support boat, or anything. You're not even allowed to touch someone's hand if they give you a snack or anything like that. And on the other side of the island, about halfway, there was a shark on my feet, and literally just they pulled
There
me
was a
straight.
shark at your feet.
Yeah, so they literally pulled me straight out of the water, thinking it was a hammerhead shark. Got on the boat, looked, and it was like still behind the boat, and it was a Galapagos shark. So like not the most dangerous, but like still a shark much bigger than me. But straight away, like that's the rule broken technically in terms of swimming for going around.
Yeah.
And so it's like, right, we can just keep going. It's fine. It was never going to be like a actual registered swim. And so yeah, I kept going anyway. And then around the other side, we had got some really strong counter currents, swimming for ages and ages. And then it was just every time I stopped swimming, you'd get taken backwards. And we were then like trying to work out where to go to, do we go further out to sea or do we go closer into land to basically get out of this counter current that was just wanting to send me back across the Atlantic. Um, and so in that decision though, like looking and figuring it out, like every time I stop, I'm just being taken at like 2 knots backwards. So like an hour's worth of progress goes in the space of like a minute. Um, and at that point, like, I held onto the kayak, and the kayak was just staying still to try and work out what to do. Again, right, that's a swimming break of the rule.
Yeah.
Um, and then so yeah, when it came to there, and we're like, right, okay, we've actually swum like 30 miles. And we're like, well, it's meant to be like we said the and swim around there was like 24 miles. You've already done 30 miles. All of this. And it was like, I'm so tired. I'm so like done with everything. I was like, I still count this as completing it, and it would be stupid for me to not to swim this last little bit. I could have done it, and it would have taken me a really long time. But then I would have never set off for the MGR probably for like another 3 days.
Yeah.
And actually, the entire point of me being there was the MGR, and I've got to sort of prioritize that over anything. And obviously, like my health and whatever, I still felt, and everybody on the boat was like, "This, it's still been done. It is so been done, and this counts for us and for everybody." It didn't actually make any difference whether I'd have effectively like completely ruined myself by doing that last little bit or not. That it was,
Yeah. Yeah.
and we would have never. It would have never been an official swim anyway, because I'd have never. I wouldn't lie
Yeah.
about
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
the boat or anything like that.
Yeah.
So it was, yeah, that was just what it was.
That's amazing. It takes me back to the time when you had entered the MGR, and I think it's fair to say you were struggling for a couple of things, and the people were saying to me, "So, geez, you ain't got experience, this and the other." And I always said from the time you entered that, hang on a sec, you've already rode the Atlantic, you know the ocean, you're a swimmer, and I figured that would be hard. So you understand self discipline and self responsibility, and they're the key elements to get you around in the MGR. So I never doubted for a minute. Although I got to say, when you left Lagos, just to go back in history, you got hammered. That was just, I thought, if you get through this to Rubicon Marina, so you'll be in for the MGR, no problem, and you did. So I take my hat off. Anyway, that's not what we're here for. We're supposed to be talking about the MGR, but you really did blow away me, and so that means a lot of followers as well are completely stunned at what happened. Just one other question on that. Obviously you weren't training physically. You get very weak on the boat, because you can't move. But what equipment, normally would you go around in a shorty wetsuit or something like that and have proper goggles and all that sort of thing?
Yeah, so normally I would wear a wetsuit,
Yeah.
but and then yeah, I'd have like my proper goggles. I'd still have a hat. It depends on like the situation. In the UK, it's so cold. I ended up wearing a mask and also gloves and socks because of the jellyfish stings. But yeah, I would, and then I always have a tow float. But normally I'd like have a basically a PLB within the tow float, but I didn't have a tow float with me, and there wasn't the correct one that I could find. I also normally sort of like use like chafe cream
Oh yeah.
to stop the sore, and I didn't have any. I ended up borrowing a pair of goggles from Argo. I've got a mask and I've got some swimming goggles with me, but they weren't good ones that I needed for that. And Argo actually had a brand new pair of like proper open water goggles. I was like, yes, please. See how on like borrowed equipment and stuff. And so yeah, I'd normally prepare and have different kit with me, but it was just make do.
Yeah. Well, it was an epic effort, and then, so yeah, well done. And then there's the MGR. So then you're sailing from St Helena to Recife. I think we gave you left. Technically, you left, and it's about, was it 12 hours after you should have or something? And we've credited you to that. That was a bit of a bonus for free, and no one's complaining about that. But it must have still taken a while to recover from that. And how did you did that have an impact on what you were feeling about the MGR? You know, the sailing from from St Helena to Recife. Were you relaxed, feeling proud? You know, thinking, "Oh, that was fun." You know, how did they come together?
It changed my sort of entire perspective again. I think almost looking at this from like a sports point of view from after the swim, I then I just got so relaxed. And I was like, do you know what? I don't care. Like before, I was going, do you know what? Oh, I'm going to try and race. I'm going to get a bit faster. You know, trying to actually race in the MGR and sort of like try and keep up with the others and stuff like that and push myself. Whereas it brought me right back to the start of the MGR where I didn't care, did not care about how quickly I was going, how long it took me to get anywhere. And again, I could have put up more sails, I could have gone faster, could have tried more, but I just was like, whatever. I know I'm going to have enough time in Recife. I am actually enjoying out being at sea. And I was just, my body was like drained. And you know, you almost get put, I don't know whether it's like a bit, I don't know if it's the right word, like a bit of more of a euphoria state of like, do you know, I'm just chilled. And I think without doing the swim, I'd have still been a little bit more competitive. But the swim sort of, yeah, I don't know, like you realise what's important and the reasons why you wanted to do something in the first place. And sort of that, it kind of reset me a little bit and was like, just just get there. Like
Yeah,
at the end of the day, nothing else matters. Nobody, you know, in like next year, nobody's going to remember the position that you come unless you win it. You
yeah,
know, like
yeah.
it makes no
Yeah, what
difference.
what you're talking about there is exactly what adventure does to you. It makes you realise the importance of certain things in your life. You know, when it's all over, and so you've had an adventure inside the adventure of the MGR. So it's like a little revision, a little review. So you know, very interesting to hear that. So anyway, so how do you feel about the next leg then? You know, like I mean, it's going to be a little bit different. It'll be on the beam. The boats will be heeling, bouncing around. There's a few other challenges. Have you thought much about it, or are you just enjoying the moment for now?
I've thought about it just in terms of I've obviously learned to sail doing this, and it's all been downwind, and I can go fast downwind, like, um, and whereas this, like, I've got no practice, no idea really how to make the boat go quickly with this wind direction. You know, I'm sort of like asking the others, like, so if the wind's going from there, what sails do you think you would put up? You know, I'm yeah, just not exactly sure even what sails to necessarily try and use and what would work the best. But for me, I'm just, it looks really patchy, looks very confused. Um, I'm not necessarily worried about it, but I definitely don't think it's going to be I don't know, star performances from me and the best sailing I will ever do. It's going to be, again, just get from A to B. I'm excited that we've got some decent current, but yeah, the winds are so patchy. Again, I think it's just going to be a lot of it's going to be luck in terms of where you end up being. Somebody else might get a gust for 2 hours, and somebody else might have absolutely nothing, and they were only a mile away from them. You know,
Yeah,
so it's
yeah.
really lucky, I think, this next bit. But yeah, I'm feeling, I wouldn't say confident, but I'm happy to give it a go. Um, and like, but I'm not scared of it either. Like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, anyway, it's the last leg. It's hard to believe we're all here. Did you find that, you know, having got to Cape Town? I mean, this might be a bit of a late question, but got to Cape Town, all the excitement of that, the drama, the stress of getting in there, and we are all celebrating because you know, it was now just a quick run up through the trades. Did that change the way you looked at the MGR as well, like that first leg and the bits? Like, you feel as if it's just a drag now getting home? You know, has it still got any excitement? Or you just over it?
no, I'm not. I do want to go home. I'm definitely not over it because we know, and we were speaking about this with the others of other stuff that's been happening. Um, is that actually that is not over till it's over.
Yeah,
So we definitely can't think of it of anything else. Like it's still the MGI, it's still just another leg. Whether it's getting to Antigua, which happens to be the finish, or what, like it's still exciting as well. Like it is different. This one, we've never done this before. This is the longest coastal route we're going to have done,
yeah,
which yeah, and it is still going to be a challenge. So I'm not thinking of it in any other way, and almost imagining that Antigua's not the finish because I think when you get so close, it sometimes is that little bit too far. So
Yeah.
I'm like, get to Antigua, and then it's still like the next thing and the next thing. But the next things after that is just thinking about the boat and like getting back to normal life, which I think is probably going to be just as challenging as actually the MGR. To be honest.
It's a bit of an epic. I mean, you've ticked a few boxes, and you're a really old lady now. Like it's taken you all your life to get those things out of the way. Yeah, sure. So yeah, it's quite amazing. I'm very impressed. Anyway, enough of that. So the boat's looking good. You're happy with the state of the boat, the sails, and everything?
Yeah, I didn't really use my A7 very much on this passage because I can tell that it's wanting to give up on life. Um, so yeah, I think if it rips, it rips. Whatever. My A5 is in good condition. My main's in good condition. My jib's in good condition. So I think the sails will last. If everything's going to go, it's the A7, but that's fine. I've been expecting it for a long time, and I have pushed that sail really hard. Um, the boat itself, yeah, really good condition. I now need to swap and think about the weight distribution because we're now going on to with the tack, which again is why I think I will not know even how to sail because I know how to sail on one side of the boat, you know. Um, so yeah, I sort of get my head around that, move everything over to the other side. Um, but yeah, she's fine. She's good. We got
Yeah.
some water. We're in here really good and got us a load of big bottles of water that we have distributed between everybody. I need to do a little bit of provisioning, but other than that, like, yeah, we're she's in good shape.
Yeah. Good. All right. Well, that's great. I'm happy I had the chance to talk to you and ask you about that swim. That was bloody awesome. But and you're right into it. It's hard to believe one leg to go when we look back at Lagos and all the things that happened there, and then Rubicon Marine and stuff. So it's cool. All right, we're going to look forward to seeing you. Anything you want to say to wrap up? Anything for your followers? You got a few followers.
Thank you for following. This is it's amazing how much support there is actually. Like I
Yeah.
just see like so many comments and stuff on everything, and it's really nice. And like the messages as well. I've got so many messages to get through. Yeah, it's just massive thank you, and yeah, I guess keep following.
Okay. All right. Big hug. Jane says good day, and we'll look forward to seeing you in Antigua very soon.
Yeah,
Stay
lovely to chat.
safe with the carnivale and all that sort of stuff. So, okay, good luck. Thanks, Jazz. See you.